There's a wealth of resources online to help you become a more masculine man. It should come as no surprise that most of these ideas merely exist on paper. You wouldn't believe how many men alter their hairstyles or wardrobes in an effort to improve their self-perception. There's certainly no harm in that, but these are the cherry on top. The icing can't go on a cake without a cake, and your cake represents your core values and beliefs. A new hairstyle or a new cologne won't do a thing to increase your self-assurance until you figure it out. Even if you've just gotten a new haircut and are wearing your most expensive perfume, you'll still back down at the first sign of an angry voice. When it comes to bolstering your manly confidence, it's not so much about introducing new practices as it is about eliminating the ones that are undermining it. One of the most prevalent motivations for males to seek counseling is improvement in feelings of self-worth and confidence, according to studies. Sure enough, we seem to be in the midst of a worldwide pandemic of low self-esteem. In today's world, it's more challenging than ever to be a man. For guys, it's practically taboo to discuss emotional struggles openly. Consider the everyday Joe. Society is always telling him to open up and express his feelings, and as soon as he does, it laughs at him. All of these factors contribute to the spread of this disease, so it's on you to maintain a healthy dose of confidence. Don't look to the government, your mom, or your girlfriend for help. Again, the onus rests squarely on your shoulders. So, let's have a look at the 7 actions you must never repeat if you want to restore your masculinity. Number 1. Choosing to stay in an abusive relationship. Many guys fear breaking up and facing life alone, although they would be better off alone than in a bad relationship. Choosing to stay in a toxic relationship is like staying in a familiar but unsafe environment. While it's true that you can rest easy there, for the time being, you're really only depriving yourself of the true freedom that exists beyond your current level of comfort. If the man in the relationship is the victim of abuse, he may become so reliant on the woman that he will not make any decisions without her permission. Why? Simply put, he doesn't want to risk her displeasure and her wrath. Without this, the victim is showing classic signs of Stockholm Syndrome, which is when they start to like and even forgive the person who hurt them. Consider the toll it has on your self-esteem and psyche when you're a man who isn't in charge and can't even make decisions for himself. This effect multiplies the longer you stay in a relationship. Number 2. Being overly hard on yourself. Being able to judge yourself is a virtue, but as men who are motivated by ambition and goals, you must do so within reasonable bounds. Just like a young child, your brain requires constant reinforcement in order to learn and develop. For this reason, it's helpful to write down or say positive affirmations that remind you of your goals and objectives on a regular basis. However, your brain is still essentially a child, no matter how old you are. Imagine that you are half full and move forward. Get up every morning and reflect on all that God has helped you accomplish that day. Even if it was just making your bed, it's something for which you should be thankful. As you keep getting what you want, your appreciation and eventually your self-confidence will grow. Number 3. Never taking the time to improve a weak area. Did you know why a man with a stable job and a history of employment is more likely to have a positive outlook on life than his younger, less experienced counterpart? The reason is obvious. The employed man possesses an ability that the unemployed man does not. In other words, he's more marketable now thanks to this expertise. By contributing his talents to the greater good of his workplace, his town, and the world at large, he is rewarded with material comforts and social status symbols like a steady income, a stable living situation, and a nice car and house. He loves knowing that he is his family's primary provider and that he is making a difference in the world. Number 4. Procrastination. Andrew Tate painted a lovely picture with his analogy. If you imagine a rocket taking off into space, do you believe it would ever stop in the middle of the sky? No. The same can be said of your writing. You can't get where you're going if you stop climbing at mid-height. If you want to reach for the stars, you have to get your hands on them. You must take steady, daily action. One of the best ways to boost your confidence and sense of self-worth is to be consistent, yet procrastination is its greatest adversary. The vast majority of men maintain a state of constant, mindless postponement throughout their lives. They are stuck in a never-ending loop of missed deadlines. What effect do you believe that is having on their self-assurance? The real substance people are using to postpone, which is social media 99.9% of the time, also has a bad effect. To accomplish a larger goal, it's best to break it down into smaller ones first. If you want to become a world-class vocalist, you need to devote at least 30 minutes per day to practicing. Mastering proper vocal techniques such as falsetto, mixed voice, and pitch singing is a must. Number 5. Refusing to aid others. A man's life can be greatly influenced by his altruistic care for the welfare of others. Integrity and self-respect come from a life guided by selfless acts of service and kindness. You can thank these qualities for boosting your assurance and pride in yourself. In contrast, a self-centered individual has no concept of the joy that comes from helping others. Consider how your sense of self-worth changed after you donated to a homeless individual. Conversely, a selfish man's jaded heart oozes hubris through his veins. Keep in mind that a connection to one's community is a trait shared by all self-assured men throughout history. Number 6. Self-pitying. It's natural to feel sorry for oneself occasionally. After all, our minds form us in ways we aren't even aware of. Maybe you don't see it yet, but those are the limits you're setting for yourself just by thinking about them. The more you tell yourself those negative things, the more solid the wall gets, making it more challenging to cross. 95% of today's males are perpetually miserable. In terms of tools for devastation, this is unparalleled. It's akin to having a victim complex. Whenever you feel yourself descending into this abyss, force yourself out of it by doing anything at all, like a set of push-ups or a quick shower. Number 7. Giving attention to your internal monologue. Gambling is life. The winner is the person who collects the best possible hand of cards. Even though we're all dealt different hands to begin with, that shouldn't stop us from playing to win. You have to play the odds if you want to win. It's disheartening to see a man give up in the face of adversity. Without taking some chances, you won't get very far in life. Everyone possesses a reassuring, optimistic thought process that can be crucial in trying situations. Though it's possible to gain useful insights from hearing it, there's another, more malicious voice out there. You can't put your trust in this voice. It's evil. If you let it, it will dangle your insecurities in front of you and taunt you with memories of your failures. Avoid the gym on the day it recommends. It tells you that sleeping in and watching a movie are more appealing than being a good person in the real world. So keep in mind, boys, that self-assurance is a habit you'll need to develop. Take regular, steady action to get rid of the things we talked about today. Also, don't forget to express your affection. Please subscribe and like this post if the algorithm interests you.